The Northman feels like going to a museum and taking a guided tour. First, you bask in the cultural richness and ogle the marvels adorning the walls. Then slowly, as you walk farther and farther, you find yourself becoming a little bored. You can see repetitive themes and styles, and the initial charm just wears off. By the end of the tour, your feet hurt, and even the most beautiful paintings start to look like just another slop of paint atop a canvas. It's hard to focus, and you're pretty sure the tour guide has changed accents to mess with you, but somehow you still feel compelled to finish. That's how it feels to watch this movie. It wants to be an epic saga, and at times the cinematography and the soundtrack almost make you believe it could be, but the writing says otherwise. The film waffles between a love story and a revenge story, but gives neither story the time it needs to develop properly. The love story is missing chemistry and reason. We rarely see the two of them together, and they only ever discuss his revenge plans when they are. I would like to know what it is about each other that they enjoy, and how they interact when they're not hyper-focused on the revenge plot. For the revenge story, I would have wanted more time with the villain, to see his anguish unfold as his kingdom comes crashing down around him. With inspiration from Macbeth, this could have been an amazing storyline. I also needed a grander battle, something just a little bit longer and better lit. I like the whole hidden in shadows part of the fight, but at one point I just couldn't tell who was who. And Amleth, he should have done more to terrorize that man. He started scheming and acting way too late into the movie. The movie spends a lot of time on mysticism and other cultural practices, and while it is really cool world building, it took a whole lot of screen time away from the two main stories. The movie is 2.5 hours long, and the entire story could fit on a single page double-spaced. The acting is a mixed bag, with Skarsgård, Kidman, and Taylor-Joy fully committing to their roles and fleshing out the characters as best they can, while the rest of the cast seems to struggle with finding the right accent and trying not to shout all of their lines like they just learned them 10 minutes ago. Defoe is also in this movie for like 5 minutes and does a weird, creepy jester character, but then he's gone. The movie's visuals are stunning at times and confusing at others. Most of the scenes have a rich color palette and a really striking focus on steady camera work. There were a couple of long takes that looked downright gorgeous. The costume design, the sets, the buildings, all of it is fantastic and seems accurate to the culture and time period. The soundtrack is great, and for once I could actually hear all of the dialogue nice and crisply. Viking chanting and ethnic music featured in the film really brought a level of authenticity that I enjoyed, and had me pumped during the fight scenes. The movie's a little long, and despite being labeled an action film, there isn't actually a lot of action. The characters aren't well presented and are one-dimensional. Amleth is the stoic Viking, Olga is the understanding woman by his side, and the king and his family are evil. The whole film is presented in very black and white morality, and it takes away from the story quite a bit. It never explores nuance or emotion, and it never lets characters just sit down and discuss things. Such a mixed bag of opinions about this film. I feel like it ends up being an average film. 6 of 10.